Hi, I'm Reza. I'm a junior at UVA, and I'm majoring in computer science and English. Today, I will be interviewing Jordyn Croom. Jordyn is an Ascent project manager at Oakwood Homes, and Jordyn is also a member of the NAHB, which is the National Association of Home Builders, right?
Yep.
And you're both as a student and professional part of this organization. So the NAHB Student Chapters is a program dedicated to enriching the educational experience of construction students, and they get membership, they get access to educational programming, networking opportunities, and first-hand exposure to the building industry. So hi, Jordyn. How are you doing?
Hello. Good.
Okay, so my first question for you is, what initially drew you to this career path?
Yeah, so I took a class at the University of Denver during my undergrad that was titled The Business of the Built Environment. And originally it was just supposed to be an elective, just something to fill my schedule. And then I started realizing that there was so much more to the built environment, to the construction industry. And my dad, when I was growing up, he installed carpet. He did different odds and ends within the construction industry, and so my scope of this industry was always it's hard hats and hammers, and that's kind of what I thought there was to it. And then I took this class at DU and realized that there's this entire industry behind it. There's a business aspect to it that is very involved, and it just drew me in. And additionally, when I was a child, my home environment was not exactly the best, and it just we had there's holes, it was a leaky building envelope, and that resulted in just some times during my childhood where I didn't have a lot of friends come over, and winters sucked because it was freezing in the house, and we're hanging blankets between rooms. And I realized how important that a good, stable home is for someone, and what effect that has on a child growing up. And I thought, I would really like to be a part of being able to deliver a healthy and safe environment for people to raise their families and create memories.
Yeah, that sounds right on. That's awesome.
Thanks.
I guess, okay, so my second question is, what high school courses have you found to be the most applicable for what you do?
Yeah, so it's interesting because at the high school level, I think a lot of the classes that we would associate with my industry would be trade classes that unfortunately a lot of those have been pulled out of high schools. And furthermore, they might continue to be pulled out considering the environment of everything right now with COVID. It might not be an investment that our public education system could fund. So I encourage people instead to realize that there's a lot of general business classes at a high school level. Like for instance, I had taken it's a general like marketing and management class. But even some of those skills that I picked up at that high school level are definitely something that you could carry into the business world with you. And there's a lot more industries than what you would think that would be applicable to, like construction. But it really wasn't until I got to college courses that I found those really specific classes. And so I actually majored in the business of the built environment within the business school at Daniels College of Business at University of Denver. So I had a lot of specific classes since that was my major. But for someone that
actually going to be that was going to be my next question. What do you think are the best college courses you could take?
Yeah, and I really encourage everyone to, at least if you're considering this industry, I think that it's a great idea to try to seek out maybe a lot of colleges have some type of construction management class that'll at least dip your toes in the water. And also I highly encourage being able to take some type of accounting or finance class, realizing that applies to so many different businesses. Because even in construction, I find myself oftentimes having to go back to at least a basic understanding of what is our accounting team looking at, so I could better deliver an on time and on budget project.
Cool, really cool. I guess what kind of internships have you found helpful, or apprenticeships that have prepared you for this career? or what would you recommend for people?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to have two different internships during my college years, and one of them was with Thrive Home Builders, which was an amazing company. They are a smaller, maybe mid-sized builders, what you could consider them, but they had a lot of hands-on experiences that they could offer me, especially because of their size, where I helped on site and actually was helping with the construction management of a townhouse development that they had here in Colorado. And I also was able to help with permitting. I did a lot of things in the office to get an understanding of business operations. So, I think that there's a lot of internships and apprenticeships that are available to people, but I encourage someone to maybe consider those smaller shops.
Yeah.
They tend to not have as many available internships, but if you could land one, you end up wearing a lot of hats. So it's definitely a benefit.
Yeah, and you get to try out a bunch of different things, I bet.
Yeah, and my second internship was with Metro Study, and they actually do the housing analytics across the nation. So that was a different experience. Still a really small shop, though, where they had 5 people in the office.
Wow.
So it was, again, a very hands-on experience. And those are other facets of the industry that I think people forget about, is that it's also, there's this entire data analytics side too, where we're really crunching into the numbers and trying to figure out, does it make sense for us to even build here? What's the demographics? So I think that there's a lot of opportunity within the industry, and just be creative when you're looking for those internships. It might not look exactly like what you thought. I didn't go into construction management per se right away, even though that was my degree, but I gained so much that allowed me to be better at my job by kind of branching out and figuring out what other opportunities exist.
Cool. Very cool. I guess my next question is, how have you engaged with the NAHB? How do you engage as a student? How are you engaging now as a professional? What are kind of the differences?
Yeah, so as a student, NAHB has a really great student chapters group, and the focus of that group tends to be, all the students get really excited about the student competition that we do every year. So for 2 years, that was really what my focus was, is trying to bring home gold for DEU. I didn't manage to do it, but hey, we got pretty close. So, second and fourth place, I'll take it. But
wow.
Not too bad,
that's
considering
crazy.
there's
That's
over
really
40 teams. So
yeah.
But that was great, because I think what NAHB does is really trying to expose you to kind of the real world of the industry. So the student competition, you get a case study, and it really is putting together something that looks very similar to a business plan that you would actually want to provide to your executive team at a company, to say, here's this parcel of land. We ran all of the market analysis on it. We put together a construction schedule. We ran a pro forma, and this is going to be profitable. I think we should pursue it, and here's why. So very hands-on, very real world. And that was definitely the focus of my engagement with NAHB. But there was a lot that came along with that. Being able to attend the International Business Show, I gained a national network of people from doing that. I met so many amazing people at so many different levels of their career, which is very helpful, knowing someone who just started, knowing someone who's 2 decades into their career, someone who's 3 or 4 decades into their career, and being able to just talk to them about what my journey will look like, how I might be better prepared for it. And all of that was through this national network of NAHB. Not to mention the fact that they provide scholarships for students. And I was fortunate enough to get 3 scholarships through them.
Wow. Congratulations.
And, thank you. It definitely helped with my senior year bill, because let's see, I ended up not paying for my senior year because of the help of NAHB.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge. Right on.
Yeah.
Nice.
especially if you look up the tuition at University of Denver. It's a pretty penny. So thank you,
Yep,
NAHB.
I can imagine. Yeah, UVA is also very expensive.
Yeah, so you know exactly where I'm coming from.
Yep, yep. Um, okay, I guess my next question is, what's your typical workday entail? Like, what do you do every day?
Yeah, let's see. My workday now is, it's kind of interesting. So for the past 2 years, I've been an Ascent project manager at Oakwood, and basically that's a leadership program that I was approached by the CEO or COO of my company, Oakwood Homes, when I was at the student competition, actually. So
Wow.
he had seen me give my presentation with the team, approached the team afterwards, and specifically had approached me saying, I have this program. I think that you would be a good fit for it. I'd love to be able to talk more about it. And turns out it was pioneering this 2-year leadership program where every 6 months I held a different position within the company. So over the past 2 years, I've been a purchasing agent. I've been an on-site sales counselor, helping 7 first-time home buyers into a home during slow seasons. So that was a pretty good record considering it was like middle of winter. But I also was in the finance department at my company and helped to put together our reforecasts every month. So that was definitely more of a business operations kind of look at everything. And then now I'm in their land development and acquisition department, where I've been offered a full-time job to become manager of entitlements and acquisition.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So many hats, so many things you've done. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So it's kind of weird because typical is it changed every 6 months. But I could tell you right now in my current position and what I'll be doing moving forward as a land acquisition and entitlements department. Really what they're doing is you're constantly looking in the market for opportunities that exist for acquiring parcels of land. My company in particular, we are a builder developer. So we focus on larger pieces of land. We want to be able to have something that has at least a 5-year build out, preferably something that looks more like 10. We have just one little division or one neighborhood within our Reunion master plan that has like 1,300 homes in it. So,
wow.
and that's just one piece of this giant master plan. So we definitely are big picture builders. Our goal is to be able to deliver a true community experience and to be able to give our homeowners that sense of community. We've had people tell us before that our Reunion development in particular feels like a small hometown, which is awesome considering it's like a 30-minute drive from downtown Denver, and it's very much a metropolitan area there.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
to deliver that is kind of what our goal is. And so my job is to be able to help assist in any kind of market analysis that might happen with those new acquisitions. But more importantly, once we acquire that land, I think people would be surprised to know that it takes 2, 3, sometimes 5 years or longer to be able to entitle that land. So that way you could legally start to be able to build what you want to build. So it's a process of working with municipalities to be able to look into what their code is and to be able to try to make your product fit within that code. And if it doesn't, trying to be able to explain to them, I know this doesn't fit, but here's the reason why this is going to benefit your community. So it's a lot of project management. There's so many different consultants that we have to work with, engineers, landscape architects, consultants that have a very specific specialization in geotech engineering. And
wow. Yeah.
so it's really kind of a project management at that level. And I'll tell you, there's really no such thing as a typical day. Every day there's something that surprises me. And I'm pretty fresh into it, but I've spoken with some of my colleagues that have been in it for decades. And, I keep telling them that I feel like I haven't learned nearly as much as what I need to be fully successful. And they said, you're not going to shake that feeling.
Oh, wow.
Every day you're learning something new, because every day it's evolving. You might have a new someone that's a new city manager and they have different expectations and they want to evolve their city just like how you want to evolve your company. So it's definitely a learning process, which can be daunting for some, but exciting for others. So it's definitely kind of, you have to have that personality type where you're ready to adapt and to learn every day.
Wow. Very cool. Wow. I guess what's something that you wouldn't expect out of this career when you first started getting into this?
Yeah, so I think that a lot of people probably have the misconception that I did, where the majority of the home building industry is hard hats and hammers, not knowing the complexity of what goes into it. So I think that I would encourage people to be more open-minded with what this industry can become, knowing that it seems kind of simple sometimes. I think when you're just looking at it at a snapshot, you're like, all right, here's some land, you put a house on it, you build it with wood, it's a house. But there's so much that goes into it, and there's so many different people that you get to interact with. And that was one thing that I didn't realize, is that it's not just the home builder, it's not just the developer, it's every consultant, every engineer, every designer. I mean, there's so many different people that get involved in this. And I think that's what's been a really incredible experience, and why my relationship with NAHB has helped me so much as well, is because they have that network. They have everyone from the mom pop home builder that has 5 people that work for them, to national builders that have a reach across the entire country. And being able to talk with those people and to understand what their job entails, and how someone in my position needs to be able to interact with them, so that way we could all get our job done more efficiently and be able to deliver better, healthier, and safer homes for everyone.
Very cool. Wow. Yeah. I guess as a last, do you have any last couple thoughts about, any words of wisdom you might give to someone considering taking up construction management?
Yeah, I think that it's important to be able to get involved in organizations like NAHB. I think in my industry in particular, it's been extremely helpful to be involved with NAHB, because that's like the national chapter, and then you have your local chapters and your state chapters. So not only has NAHB done so much for me as a student, and now I'm giving back and trying to be involved in their student chapters as an alumni, by being able to reach out to more students and young adults, trying to explain to them what this industry really is, not just the hard hats and hammers, right? And that group has been able to assist me in completing college, which is amazing, and then being able to help me get more integrated into my local chapter. So the Denver Metro HBA has educational sessions. They have networking mixers, which have all been virtual now with COVID. But still, it's just a great place to be able to bounce ideas off of, because ultimately at the end of the day, especially in this industry where things are constantly evolving, even on the building side, there's always new materials coming out. There's new building methods. We get better, more efficient every year. And because of that, not only are you learning new things, but you're trying to be able to gain an experience, to have that knowledge that comes with working in an industry for decades. So being involved in a network and an organization like NAHB or your local HBA chapter, it gives you that experience without you having to have personally spent decades, right? Like I could kind of learn from others that may have said, oh yeah, I've been through that same thing. Have you thought of doing it like this or this?
Right.
And getting that knowledge, especially when you're fresh in your career, is completely invaluable. So regardless of what industry you go into, although I highly encourage everyone to take a look at construction and specifically the home building industry, because it's amazing.
Of course.
But either way, I think that a lot of industries have these types of organizations, and it's always beneficial to be able to reach out and to make those connections. And a lot of industries, even though it's so big, at the end of the day, it's really kind of small. And you end up realizing how many times that you've interacted with this person. And, you might have met them 10 years ago, and then now they're your colleague at your new, work. So it's a great idea to make those connections and to take advantage of educational sessions and other tidbits of knowledge that might exist within those organizations and networks.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Jordyn. Yeah, it's been really insightful. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. So thank you for joining us. I hope you guys learned more about NAHB. If you want more information, please visit the NAHB Q Career page to find out how NAHB can help you with your career development. Until next time, and have a good week. Goodbye.